Does your schedule feel chaotic? I'm sure your income may feel chaotic as well. I'm going to show you my daily system that I use to run my real estate business, and I've grown it to $500,000 a year in sales. And that includes researching, selling, showing homes, writing contracts, listing homes, creating content for a real estate channel, this podcast, writing books, speaking engagements. Yes, I know it's a lot, but I'm going to show you how I'm able to do all that. Of course, I can't do all of that in one day, but this is my workflow and the apps that I use and programs that keep me on track, organized, and well researched. And I will have a link to all of that in the show notes. Welcome to Stop Chasing, Start Reacting, the show where you build a brand, become an authority, and reinvent your life. My name's Robyn Cavallaro. I'm a realtor in Central Florida, and I have built a massive real estate business starting from scratch and starting over at 56 years old with nothing. And I've built a successful business. And in this podcast, I'm handing you the playbook. You will get real, actionable items, not just fluff. So if that resonates with you, follow the show, download it, and if you wouldn't mind writing a positive review, because the algorithm lets you know that I'm not just sitting here talking to myself in my pajamas, which I will admit I am today. So, well, most agents start their day scrolling and they're lost. They don't know where to go, what to do, and how to start. I run a simple daily workflow that creates visibility for me, helps me find and stay in touch with my clients, writing contracts, selling homes, and doing everything I do daily. So here are the rules. I have to say, I do multitask, and that is really important. But the first thing is I start my morning off with coffee. I actually perk my own coffee and no drip. And that seems to help. But I wake up at 6 a.m. and that's when I start. I get my coffee together. I have my AG1 greens that give me all the nutrients that I might be missing during the day. Get onto my computer and I start. First thing first, I open up my Stellar MLS and I look through new listings, what's gone pending, homes that have sold, price decreases, homes that have come back on the market. And I look through all of that because I have clients in many different processes. I have clients that are researching. I have clients that are ready to buy. I have clients that through a price reduction, a home may now become available to them. So it's really important that you know your market. So after I go through the MLS extensively, then I hit my iHomeFinder. iHomeFinder is my CRM and also a service that I pay for that allows me to display the Stellar MLS feed on my website. It is an awesome lead generation and client capturing tool. In my videos, I direct everyone to my website to start their MLS search. And it has been very helpful. The CRM, while I admit had a few bumps along the way, they're very responsive and have actually made some changes that I have suggested to help me better use their system. But it keeps all of my clients in order. I know where they are in the process by tags that I've set up for their criteria. I can keep notes for each customer. They do have the ability to send emails out, but I do that separately, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But I manage that CRM every day. And also I have two people that work with me that I also allow them to search in the CRM because I have new people coming to my site daily. So I have new visitors every day looking for homes. So it's important that we reach out to them. And that system really, I actually, when I first started, funny enough, of course, I didn't really have a big business or any business. I used something called Trello. and I designed the boards and I moved the customers around from where they were in their price points and sequence. And I did that for about 2 years because it was a free service. But then at one point I decided to redesign my website and put the MLS feed on it with the CRM. And then I started directing visitors through my content to my website, and it seriously exploded to the point where when I first did it, this was 2.5 years ago, I had to hire an assistant just to go through and find out who I needed to speak to today, tomorrow, next week, next year, next month. And everyone's results are going to be different, but creating content alone is just not enough. You have to send them somewhere. And your own website and CRM is incredibly important. I look at my website every day. I now do not take care of it. I hired a web designer to redesign it 2.5 years ago when we put the feed on there. And I pay her annually to maintain it for me. There are some things as your business grows, you will have to hire outside services to help you with that because you just can't handle everything. So keep that in mind. I start out every day in the MLS, and then I go to my iHomeFinder to check, or whatever your CRM is, to check if there's something there that my buyers are looking for. Once I do that, I'll spend probably about a half an hour. And then once I'm done with the MLS, then I start to go through my content creation. So the first thing is I have a schedule printed up for my daily posts to make sure all of my shorts are scheduled. I post shorts 3 times a day. And I use a program called OpusClips, which I do have an affiliate link in the show notes. 2 ways I use it. I take my long form content and post it there, and it will cut it into shorts based on what I'm looking for. Do I want them to be, no more than 30 seconds, 60 seconds to a minute and a half to 3 minutes. So there's different levels, and it will create captions. And so I spend time making sure I have new content in there to post. Also, I started recording just 90-second shots when I do a home tour. And because 90 seconds is a good spot to be for Facebook Reels. But I go through there and make sure I have at least 3 days in advance of short postings from my long form content, or shorts that I have just uploaded, like an advertisement for one of my real estate books that are available on Amazon KDP. And also I have a short-term rental online course that's on my website, and I will send out as promotion. But there are times where I will post fun stuff. So anyway, I just make sure that I have all of those boxes checked, and I'm 3 days out, at least 3 posts a day. And I will spend sometimes an hour just making sure I have all the right up-to-date topics, going through some of my old long-form content to cut it up, because some of it is still relevant, evergreen content. So I spend about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour on that. So now of the 4-hour block, because I start at 6, I work on the computer until 10 a.m. Once 10 a.m. hits, then I'll leave and go out on the next part of my day. But we are searching the MLS to help my current customer base, also for sellers, to make sure, look who's reaching out, following up with showings, feedback, that type of thing. Then I'll spend another hour with short form posting content. After that, I start to do some research on other projects. So now, obviously, I am probably maybe more advanced in my career and other streams of income than you may be, but you could eventually get to this point. I'm working on keynote speaking and trainings, either live, in office, or virtual. So I'll spend probably about a half an hour refining those items and reaching out to organizations to get myself booked into their conference office training. And I work very closely with ChatGPT on everything that I do. So working on another passive income stream, I'll spend half an hour to 45 minutes. Next half an hour, I'll spend researching and reaching out to fellow podcasters to secure a guest spot on their podcast. And that takes time because, you have to apply. They want to ask questions. So that takes up some time, but I don't try to devote too much time to that because the core of my business is selling real estate. So I have to make sure that I am staying in that realm and my passive streams become a secondary, almost side hustle to my business. So I'll go in and work on. So then I spend the last half an hour looking at the online platforms, checking analytics on YouTube, checking my analytics on Facebook, which since I started posting so much short form content with OpusClips, which I just purchased in the middle of December, my Facebook page was monetized. So that's pretty exciting. But I go on all of the social media channels and looking at what people are saying, commenting, and responding to those comments every day. So there you have it. That takes up the first 4 hours of my morning. And to be honest with you, sometimes I'm running 15 minutes late. After I do all of those things, that's the time where I start to book appointments to show homes, listing appointments, and I've created something here in my community called a campus tour, which might not be a bad idea no matter where you are. Clients book it when they're coming into town, and I take them around my community. So this community is almost 25 miles, one into the other. And we have different nuances, and your communities are going to have that as well. I get them in the car and I show them the different areas and I tell them what I find in these areas, what to expect from aesthetics, age of home, levels of upgrades, yard sizes, home sizes, pricing, taxes. We go through all of that and my buyers feel so comfortable and they get to ask a lot of questions, and it's a 2-hour segment and it is a great bonding experience for you and your potential customer. Because remember, buyers sometimes are in a process and it's not a sprint. It may be a marathon. So you might be working with people for a year or two, but you want to bond with them so you have a rapport, that know, like, and trust that gets them to like you and want to use you. Because remember, I've said this often, real estate is not a hard business, but you have to work hard at it. Showing homes, and even, if there are days where I might not have a client to do any kind of tours, I might have an open day. I may just take an hour or two and go and look at new homes that hit the market just to see the interiors, because you all know when you look at a home in photos, it doesn't always resonate to what you find. And I tell everyone I can't smell it. So I can't tell if there are any pet odors, smoke odors that would maybe make the home not as attractive. So I will do that. If I don't have any customers, then I spend more time creating content. But let's just take a typical day. I have one buyer. I have two buyers. Believe it or not, there are times where I've had 3 or 4. And some might be virtual, where I'm doing a video tour of the home or a FaceTime call with them. So I'll spend, the next 4 or 5 hours out in the field. Then I return home, and if I don't have any plans for the evening, I'll hit the computer again and I start working on my social media content and education. Because education, watching other YouTube videos of products that might be helpful, can really transform your business. I get back onto ChatGPT and start researching things. Could be another book. If I have ideas, I'll put those onto ChatGPT even when I'm driving and let it flush it out. And then I finish going through it. ChatGPT is a great resource, people, but you have to remember some of it might not be correct. And I go through many edits. when I'm doing anything, books, programs, workshops, speaking, even content creation for my channel. We'll go through many edits, revising the content that ChatGPT's putting out. I did find a new program that you should all take a look at. It's free in Google. It's called NotebookLM. Now, it's been out for a while, but I had to do a CMA, and I plugged all the information. I actually gave ChatGPT a lot of the information I needed, put it into a PDF, uploaded it into NotebookLM, and it printed out a beautiful deck. I'm going to do a tutorial on how I use that and how it can revolutionize your real estate business. That'll come in another episode. So remember, follow this episode, follow this podcast, and rate a review so you know of the next video when it comes out. But just real quick, I'm going to go over the tools that I use daily. Obviously, Stellar MLS. I use ChatGPT, NotebookLM, OpusClips. I use Canva as an editing or a graphic design software. It is absolutely fantastic, and I've been using it for about 15 years. I would highly suggest you get into Canva if you're not already. You can start out with a free version. I have the pro version, but I do have links. I have an affiliate for a lot of the products that I use and all of the items that I use in content creation on Amazon, and I'll link those in the notes. I use Camtasia for my editing software, but of course, you can use your phone, but I edit long form, short form in there. Sometimes I'll upload it just to splice things together. But also when I'm doing any kind of webcasting where I'm doing screen record, I edit in Camtasia. It's so easy to use. I used some other programs before that were very complicated, and I think Camtasia is one of the best items out there. But I do spend the evening. I mean, sometimes I'm off the computer by 7 o'clock. If I'm having dinner with a friend or, going with my friend. So I do make time for personal life as well. There has to be a balance. I do play pickleball. I play in a pickleball league, sometimes two. I visit my family. Sometimes I'll take time off just to do that. But I always am a phone call away. That's important. Make sure you have a good phone and that you answer your phone. But in the evening, it's a lot of research, a lot of catching up. Also, I allow on my website, there's a booking system called Calendly, where visitors can book a call. And of course, they're always available to call me. But I use that because it blocks the time out, because I'll get a lot of messages. Hey, give me a call when you give a chance. And I'm going to be honest with you, I won't remember, because the amount of text message and emails that I get a day, it's just not possible. So I use Calendly to keep my appointments, when people are booking. Because remember, in my market, they're coming from outside of the community to visit and what I call power shop. But in your community, you may have people visiting, relocating, that are looking, and that will put it on their schedule, puts it on your schedule, sends out reminders, and it keeps everything in their snapshot. And I highly recommend it if you have a lot of people that you're trying to keep track of. But also, lastly, in the evening, I start to work on content for my email newsletter. I use MailChimp, which I used to use Squarespace, but MailChimp's more expensive, but it is a more robust program, because now I'm giving away calls to action, worksheets, decks for you, and it's easy to accomplish that in MailChimp. I did hire someone recently to do my newsletter. She is fantastic. I highly recommend her. It's my daughter, but she is very good. And her name is Savannah Daigle, if anyone's looking for someone to create content and handle your newsletter mailings. But I'll go through what I want. I send it to her. She designed the template for me. I send her what I want in there, and she sends it out for me every Friday. Seems to be really good time for us. Usually I try to get off of the computer by 8 o'clock. So then I can sit down, watch a little TV, maybe relax, maybe. But I'll take phone calls up to like 8. I mean, it depends. If I'm working a deal, I've answered the phone at 10 o'clock at night because you have to make hay while there's sunshine. So with that said, that is my daily workflow, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on the computer, working, looking for homes for my buyers, client contact, lead generation, content creation. Then for 6 to 8 hours out on the road with customers, with clients. In the evening, another 2 to 3 hours with follow-up, returning emails, phone calls, contracts, all of that good thing. So it's a good 15-hour day for me, but I sold 88 homes last year. And you do that by hustle and drive. You can't do that by sitting back and waiting. Get yourself a system and work hard at it. My name is Robyn Cavallaro. Thank you for staying with me on this episode of Stop Chasing, Start Attracting, all about my daily workflow and how this might help you organize yourself. And I hope to see you in the next episode. Thanks for joining me. Have a good one.